Digital marketing advice for a startup financial planning, financial advisory firm. So it's a local business located in a fairly dense area of Melbourne. They're looking to rank at the top of Google, as always. They're looking to get leads, they're looking to get inquiries. So my advice was, initially we started off by setting some expectations. The reality of the situation is, in that particular suburb, in many semi-dense suburbs, there are probably 20 to 30, maybe 40 already established financial advisory practices that have already had a website up, some of them 10 years, some of them 15 years, some of them more. Some of them have 20 Google reviews, some of them have 50 Google reviews. The reality of the situation is we're up against some tough competition. Now, it definitely can be done. I've seen new brands, new websites, new Google listings skyrocket to the top of Google when things are executed correctly. Now, that's probably how a lot of my local conversations go when it's a startup business, where especially when it's a sole operator, right? So you're opening up a business, you're wearing a lot of hats. The expectation is you have to be mindful. You're going up against companies, businesses with potentially 30, 40 employees. That means they may have a dedicated marketing team, in-house SEOs, in-house team members that are actively working on the website, working on the Facebook ads, on the Google ads. So you're pretty much going up against that. Not to say that it can't be done. It's just when you're looking at how long things might take and how much things might cost, they're the kind of things to look at. So when I look at websites in a certain suburb, let's say Brighton, let's say it's Toorak, Melbourne, Camberwell, I look at how many websites are gunning for those key terms. Now, I also look at how many local businesses already have Google listings in that space. But my advice is always with these startup businesses is the same. In order to rank on Google Maps, which is the quickest and most realistic thing to rank on in your suburb, wherever you've opened up your office location, you definitely have a chance to rank on Google Maps, especially in the top 3, which is the 3-pack of maps. Now, there are 2 factors. There are lots of factors, but 2 main factors of how Google decides who goes on at the top. One is having a Google listing that is not only mature, but is filled with plenty of Google reviews, more than your competitors. It's not always more is better. It's the quality of those reviews. It's the age of the accounts that left those reviews. It is the depth of the reviews. It's the detail that they've gone into. If they've just given you a 5-star and see you later, or they've given you a solid paragraph of what it's like to work with your business experiences, and especially when they use the main keyword financial advisor, financial planner, wealth advisor as part of the review. So these are all micro factors that can help you pop up on Google Maps. So having a Google listing registered is absolutely essential to having a chance of showing up on Google Maps. Now, there are 2 types of Google listings. There's a service business, and then there's an actual physical office location business. That's really the one that will have a higher chance to rank. The reality is that service-based Google listings are being pushed down more and more the moment there are physical listings shown up. So what I'm talking about there is where you can show up on Google Maps without actually disclosing your address. But when someone opens up a physical office and discloses the address to Google and says, hey, I have an office, come check it out, Google will generally pick that listing over a service listing that's not just disclosing their office. So homework is always go get more reviews. You should be aiming for 50 Google reviews in the first year, 6 months, as quickly and as early as possible. Don't buy reviews, don't get fake reviews. But you can ask brothers, sisters, cousins, dogs, cats to leave meaningful reviews. If you have to write those reviews for them, do it. Reply to those reviews. So that's 50%. That's essential that you should have. The other 50% comes from the website. right? So having an SEO optimized website that is targeting those suburbs. So it's showing to Google, hey Google, we are here and we do what we do, right? And generally speaking, a new website will be in what's called the Google sandbox, which is like kindergarten for websites. It's a trust period that can go for 6 months, it can go for a year, which is essentially Google sussing you out and making sure that you're not dodgy. You're not selling drugs, pharmaceuticals, and a whole bunch of other casino and gambling niches, right? Not to say that Google doesn't rank them, but they just want to make sure you're not going to mislead people and that you are trustworthy. Now, the first thing is with anything to do with a locally optimized website is to make sure your suburb is in the SEO title, it's in the meta description, it's in the H1 tag, H2 tag. Like, you want to make it easy for the Google crawler that's visiting your website, which is like the little councilman with the little checklist that's just visiting your website, to understand what is your website about. Financial planner in Brighton. Bang. Make it easy for Google to understand. Listing all of your services. Now, on your service pages, on every single service page, mention that suburb. You are located in Brighton. You're located in Bondi. You provide wealth advice. You provide SMSF advice, startup, accounting services, bookkeeping services. You name the service. So when Google visits all of these pages and it sees the suburb repeated, there's a little micro signal that is sent that make them, I wouldn't say believe, I have to be careful with the word believe. So they'll see it, they'll consider it. And then you have to give it time. Not only time, there's a whole bunch of stuff that we do to a fresh website early on, sending some very basic backlinks, citations, mentions from other websites, directory posts, not too many, right? You don't want Google to be like, you know what, I can see that they have an SEO behind them. We're gonna just keep them in their Google sandbox, the trust, the kindergarten, a lot longer, maybe much, much longer. So the advice for these startup businesses is always setting some expectations early on. SEO will be expensive if there are competitors that are powerful websites with lots of pages. Google Ads will be expensive because, hey, there's plenty of financial practices that are gunning for financial planner, financial advisory key terms, right? So it's about being precise. So that's initially the expectation. Now, SEO will work, Facebook ads will work, Google ads will work. It's just a matter of setting expectation of how long will it take to rank, at what cost. So it won't hurt to begin some sort of a basic SEO campaign for the first sort of 6 months to a year, just to get the baseline blogs and backlinks and really prove to Google that we're trustworthy. But the expectation that I set with all of my clients is probably not much will happen for the first 12 months. Now, I hope to God that we rank at the top of Google Maps the first month, the second month, especially when there's 20 or 30 reviews. And that's what happens to a lot of my campaigns when the business owners take Google reviews seriously. I've had a few recent campaigns that are at the top of Google within 6 months, but they do have 90 Google reviews, written reviews. They've embraced all of the advice, the SEO advice that we've implemented. So it definitely can happen. You can rank at the top of Google Maps much quicker. You may never rank at the top of certain key terms in metropolitan areas of Melbourne. So for example, the term injury lawyer or superannuation or banking or even just car dealerships. These are just monster key terms that high authority sites that have offices in all major city locations. However, we definitely can rank at the top of Google Maps within your suburb for your desired key term. Hope that makes sense and hope that's helpful.